I'm sure that all of you here and most of you watching tonight understand why we delayed this program for 24 hours. Because of the incredible events of yesterday, that old adage, the show must go on, seemed relatively unimportant. The Academy, ABC Television, and all of us connected with the show felt because of the uncertain outcome, as of this time yesterday, it would have been inappropriate to stage a celebration. But the news today is very good, as you know. The president is in excellent condition at last reports. He's been conducting business. And he happens to be in very good spirits. After all, you must remember this is a man who yesterday, while he was in the hospital unable to speak, wrote on a sheet of paper, "All things considered, I'd rather be in Philadelphia." So tonight the show does go on. Now, 2 weeks ago, President Reagan videotaped an opening greeting for this occasion. We were in contact with the White House about 2 hours ago, and it was the president's express wishes that we use that introduction. And I might add, you might like to know that he also asked for a television set in his room so he could view this program tonight. I was, Actually, the president was in such good form today, I was very tempted to call him and ask him if he had any more of those one-liners that I could use. So it is especially pleasing tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to say, here is the President of the United States.
Is here. Look at Melania. So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Can we play that again, our producers? I know it was short, but I want to play it again just for emphasis.
First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania. So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Wow. Wow. Nicole, what say you?
So Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been funny since probably 84. I think that was the last time that they didn't have to pull out a laugh track to play it over top of the stunned studio audience. It's that kind of rhetoric mixed in with, and I agree with you, Shirley, and Blanca as well. By the time our kids get to college, they are open to alternative ideas. And, Shirley and Blanca, when we all went to college, they did teach us some counter U.S. Theories, but it was simply that. It was a theory. It was nothing that we would ever act upon. It was really just to give us an understanding of how the other side of the world thinks and why it doesn't work. Well, what these kids are hearing, because they've been indoctrinated since they're 4 years old, this is the key. This is how I level the playing field. I'm fighting. You hear this all the time for Palestine. These people wouldn't make it a day in the Middle East. These pretentious kids walking around with $4,000 cell phones in their pocket, $2,000 worth of earbuds, and haven't missed a meal, never been cold, never been hot, unless they've chosen to be. At these $100,000 a year universities, they really think that they have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the Middle East simply because some bored teacher brought out some theory from the 40s and they think it sounds cool. What ends up happening is when they hear that enough, and because our children don't have a patriotic upbringing, they're not saying the Pledge of Allegiance, they're not learning about American history outside of the things that they can use to divide us, it sounds like a great idea. I mean, listen, communism sounds great unless it's your stuff they're taking. If you're on the bottom of the food chain, yeah. Give me a little bit of Blanca stuff. I'll take a little Shirley E stuff too. Right. It's all good until it gets to you. That's the part they're not teaching them. So when young people hear this and they hear it a steady drumbeat, if you watch network news, you hear it constantly. Some of these podcasts are just as sick as Jimmy Kimmel. So they're radicalizing these people and they're giving them an out. Because listen, Don Lemon should have been routinely dragged for what he did in that church by every corner of the American media. They hold him up to be a hero. So when you see that, if I'm the guy who kills Trump, man, I'm a national hero. People are going to love me. Not I'm going to federal prison for the rest of my life for taking an attempt on the president's life. They just don't get it. It doesn't excuse the behavior. Right. They just don't get it.
Like, for instance, last time I was in California, a few trips back, people were trying to dox my location live. I was at a hotel, and people were up on Reddit group chats saying where I was staying. And it's happened a few times now, so it's like almost even dangerous for me to go stay at hotels because you can get doxxed really quick and people can find out where you're at. You get constant death threats from people. The fraudsters are angry. In fact, yeah, they're very angry. I've had death threats, and one of them was even very specific about the date. It's actually supposed to be coming up very soon, the date that they said they'd kill me. So that was interesting. And you just get all these death threats. You get doxing. But the majority of the public are very thankful. Like when I'm out in public, so many people come up to me and say thank you. It's actually interesting at Sacramento when I was just there. So many people were saying thank you. But the people inside the building, they all hate me because I'm exposing their corruption. But the people love me.
There is nothing more terrifying than having a domestic terrorist. Why? Because they already know your footprint. They know your life pattern. They know they can get to you. You know, it's truly somebody can get to any of us much quicker than a stranger who wants to perhaps cause any kind of damage or harm, maiming of an individual just because of their religious, you know, we know what Islam is, okay? We're not talking about Muslims. We're talking about Islam. We're talking about the ideology that says specifically there is a threat. And I want to also add before you go to the next topic or conversation, and that is, I disagreed with Biden's policies, but I never wished him dead. You know what I did? You know what I did and what we did as a family when we heard he had cancer and was metastasized in the bone? We prayed for him. Okay? We prayed for him. We did not wish him ill. We didn't say, you know, take him, Lord, you know, it'll be a one less person. Why? And this is where light, like Nick Shirley, light does three things. Light disinfects, it exposes, and it also establishes people. And that is what people are not. People are not, they are dirty, they are not, they're evil. And their deeds, they're known by their deeds, because this is not normal to want to have someone else dead because you believe that that is what should happen to them. You're almost saying, I hold the power of life and death. I mean, we already know that, you know, the left don't, you know, you're not safe in the womb with the left. You're not safe in the bathroom. You're not safe in the bedroom. You're not safe in the classroom. So now we're going to the boardroom, and we've gone to even to the White House, where our leader has to really carefully move and live and work about doing the work of the people. We elected him. And even when Biden was in office, it wasn't about let's neutralize him. You didn't hear that. Nobody talked about neutralizing him.
The best thing that could have happened is that maybe Barack Obama would have decided to build the ballroom, because having an event with the president, with the vice president, the secretary of state, the secretary of war, the secretary of agriculture, with having that much of our line of succession in one place needs to be much more secure. Now, the Hilton Hotel, that ballroom was locked down well before the president arrived. And if you live in the DMV, if you live in the swamp, you know, if the president is going to be somewhere, they lock that area down. The traffic does not move until he is calm and in place, and all of his security is in place. And even then, they're checking not just the bottom of your car, not just the inside of your car. They're going through all of the bags in your car. They're asking you, even if you're a ticket holder for an event, what are you doing here? They really go the extra mile because of the threats that have happened to him. But we need a secure ballroom. You know, we can't let the crazies change our way of life. We can't let the crazy people tell us that we can't go out, that we can't have nice dinners, that the president can't attend, that the vice president can't attend. We need a secure ballroom.